I'm Robin McGew, and they say that the body is the geography closest in, and right now with the changing of the seasons, my body's geography is starting to look like Siberia. Now, the hot topic right now is whether students are getting enough heat. Is it a problem with the utilities company, or is it the landlords, or is it that the students simply aren't wearing enough layers of sweatpants? So we hit the mean streets of Kingston to get the skinny on this scoop. Gabriella, we're talking about heating woes. You seem to have a bit of a doozy yourself. Do you want to tell us about it?
Sure. Well, I live in a sweet apartment on Princess. I like it a lot for a lot of reasons, but our heating isn't regulated in the apartment, so we actually have to go downstairs to the store beneath us to get them to change the heating. And unfortunately, they don't change it in increments of 2 or 3 degrees. They change it in increments of like 8. So when the heating wasn't on when it was warm, the apartment was really great. But then they turned the heating on for that weekend that it got really cold at the end of September, and then went on holiday and left it on at like pretty hot. So we were living in sort of a Sahara type apartment. Outside it was really cold, and inside the apartment it was like boiling. So of course we went downstairs and asked them to turn it down because we didn't like that. Trying to be eco-friendly and everything. So they turned it off. And so all of last week we were living in the Arctic. So 2 pairs of sweats, a sweatshirt, a hat, scarf type thing inside the apartment. It was warmer outside than it was inside.
So we're talking about heating in the ghetto. Have you guys faced any problems yourself?
Not really, except for some rooms are like warmer than others and some are really cold.
Yeah, we have heat irregularities, so housemates like dying of heat and I'm needing like 4 sweaters, so it's kind of just all over the place in our house.
And I think the heating in Kingston is just like really expensive in general. So in my house, like we all have a thermostat in our room, but we all share the same bill. So it's kind of like a lot of drama between like who turns the heat up more, or I don't know, it's hard.
So Aaron, tell me about your housing situation. You said it was a bit complicated.
First year living in our residence, moved into a house. Our landlord basically didn't charge us utilities until the end of the year, where he gave us this big bill. No actual hard copies of the bills for utilities, and expected us each to pay around $700. I paid, another housemate paid, but 3 of our housemates didn't pay, and we're currently being sued over it right now.
So do you have any suggestions then for first years who are looking into housing?
Take your contract to Queen's Legal First Aid, get them to check it out, make an agreement amongst yourselves that you guys will be held liable only for your portion, so even if they come back and try and sue you, you don't get stuck in a situation like I'm in.
I found it was helpful when I moved into my house. We actually got to speak to the people that lived there before, and they gave us like an idea of how expensive the heating was throughout the winter, so that was like a big help.
Try and get a place that includes utilities, because the student village houses sometimes have questionable insulation, so you want to get those in a package, I'd say.
A lot of places are on different types of heating, so you should look into that as well.
And are you guys doing anything along the lines of greennovations to try and conserve the energy that might be lost?
We're buying those panels that you can put on your windows, and you like use a hairdryer to blow them on, and apparently it reduces the amount of heat that like just goes out the windows.
We're trying to put the plastic on the windows to like have less of a draft.
Our landlord's actually pretty cool, and he put in these like really thick pane energy efficient windows a few years ago when he renovated the house, so that's really helped out in some rooms. And I know that I have this like cling film stuff to put on your windows, which we will be putting up soon.
Do you think that landlords should sort of have an obligation to, serve the students first before sort of, I guess, they get around to it? Or should the students be the ones voicing the concerns?
I think the landlords they should be doing it, but with student housing they know they can get away with more, and then the students just get lazy or expect that, well, it's just a student house, so it's not a big deal. I'm only here for another year. Why put up the fuss?
The general consensus on campus is that students are really feeling like a Katy Perry song, hot and cold. So I think really the best advice for students is just try and stay warm, snuggle up, grab a close friend, and just spoon away until springtime. So if you don't mind, Queens, I'm going to make like the changing trees and leaf.
Hi everyone, I'm here today with Rachel Shinman of Greennovations and Ken McDougall of the Living Energy Lab. We're going to talk to you about the different ways you as students can cut down your heating bills for this winter. Hi Rachel and Ken.
Hi.
So why don't we start off by telling everyone about what your organizations do around campus. So Rachel, why don't we start with you? What exactly falls under the portfolio of Green Innovations?
Well, Green Innovations is a committee under the AMS. We're part of the Sustainability Office, and our main goal is to increase awareness and practice of sustainable living initiatives among students. So we have a home retrofit project, and we also hold a light bulb exchange, and we're also hoping to hold some workshops or other educational opportunities for students to learn more about sustainable living.
Ken, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Living Energy Lab?
Sure. The Living Energy Lab is a student-run team that is part of NSOC. And our goal is to educate the public and the student area about different ways to cut down on your consumption costs and conserve energy for the betterment of our community here.
How can students get involved with the retrofit program for the winter?
Well, what the retrofit program does is, as Green Innovations, we retrofit student houses to be more energy efficient. So students apply on behalf of their houses. They fill out a short application just telling us a little bit about them and their houses, and then we will plan retrofits, go into the student houses and do the entire retrofit, making their home more energy efficient, lowering their utility bill, and it's all at no cost to the students.
We have a team of students who will be trained in the retrofits that we're going to have. They're very non-invasive, so they don't change the lifestyles of students, but they are their purpose is to educate the students and, as well, like Rachel said, cut down on consumption costs. Anytime you lose warm air from your house, it's a huge cost to your utility bills. So seal up your windows for winter and have your doors set so that you can close them firmly without any air leaking out.
Check your furnace. You want to make sure if you have forced air heating, that would mean that you have vents where the hot air comes out from, that your furnace filter is clean, because that makes a big difference in the efficiency of your furnace. If you have hot water heating, so your radiators around your house, make sure that they're not blocked, that they're open so that the air can circulate, and that also that there's no dust on them, because that also has a big impact on the efficiency.